Hi, my name is Dr. Mahul Brahma. Thank you, students. Thank you, faculty. And thank you, dear audience, for your time. So, the way I have thought about it is that I'll divide today's session in three phases. So, the first phase will be to discuss about the conventional way by which we define luxury, which is through price tags and through exclusivity, through aspirations. In the phase two, I will share my personal story that I'm not very proud of, but the story that has helped me realize something that perhaps wouldn't have happened in any other way. The third phase is the story of my new journey, on which I want all of you to join me, which is the story of inclusivity and the story of a life beyond price tags, story of looking at luxury from an all new perspective. So, the phase one, I'll begin with again a story. Well, it's a real story. This was during the time of the zamindars in Bengal, wherein there was a lot of one-upmanship between the two zamindars. So, primarily ego-driven battle on who's the richer. Not that it has stopped anyway. But at that point of time, it was extremely uh, competitive. So when one zamindar, so earlier they used to use a palki, or a palanquin to go from one place to the other. They graduated to a phaeton, which is a horse-driven carriage. So when one zamindar brought in a horse-driven carriage with two horses, the other zamindar couldn't take it. So within 1 month, he also ordered for himself a similar phaeton, but with four horses. The competition became fierce. So the first zamindar added four more horses. So now he had a 6-horse driven phaeton. Now this zamindar thought that let's add two more. Now this battle continued till the time when the first zamindar thought that, let's not get into this fight. Let's do something very different. So instead of horses, he replaced his carriage, his phaeton, with two zebras. If you Google, you'll see the photograph of this phaeton being driven by two zebras on the streets of Calcutta. This is what notionally we define luxury as. This is what notionally luxury brands define luxury as, because it creates a sense of exclusivity, price tag, creates a gap, a divide between haves and have-nots, exclusivity. Now, these luxury brands had a great relationship with the Maharajas of our times. And I take you back by, say, 100 years. So this is typically 1920s when Rolls-Royce had its biggest market share in India alone. This is a time when the Nizam chose Harley Davidson for his 50 postmen to deliver his messages. This is a time where um, Maharaja of Patiala ordered the biggest consignment to Cartier in the form of a crown necklace, which had, I think, over 2,300 diamonds and a 235 carat De Beers centerpiece diamond. This is a time where the Maharaja of Jammu and Kashmir ordered customized Louis Vuitton trunks, for his golf set, for his spices. So he was a foodie, and he used to carry this set of spices with him. And for anything and everything, for his bar, the glasses, the different glasses he used to have for different drinks. Now, typically, luxury has historically, evolutionary, defined by this price, exclusivity, millions, crores, and what have you. So, price tag and exclusivity. This is what comprises luxury as of now. So now I'll take you to the next phase, which is of my story. So this is a phase of my life when I had started as a journalist. My editor, and I had moved to Delhi then, and my editor, he was somebody who's completely consumed in this world of luxury consumerism. So he used to flaunt, the brands that he owned to all of us. And while I was not lured a lot, what he did was that he asked me to write on luxury. There was a magazine, and he asked me to write for it. And I started exploring this world of luxury, and he kind of pushed me into not only academically researching luxury by talking to brand custodians or the boutique managers, reading about its history and reading about the evolution of the brand, but also by luring me into indulging in luxury. Now, after the first push, I was all in, and slowly and slowly, I got consumed in this world of luxury consumerism. It became my identity, the jacket that I was wearing, the watch brand that I was sporting, the pen that I was using, the writing instrument rather that I was using. And I started judging people on those lines. But the thing that happened, which was worse, is that my credit card bills and EMI kept piling. Because even after the 10th belt or the 11th bag or the 12th watch, I somehow, in my mind, was able to justify the need to buy another one. My bills were as much as a housing loan, and I still didn't know how to stop. I started borrowing from my friends to pay off my bills. It's a phase I'm not very proud of. It's a phase that I really don't want to live again. But it's a phase that I take as a learning, a life lesson. And I didn't realize that I was sucked into this inferno of luxury consumerism. And willingly. It was at that time that my father suffered a heart attack, and I had to come back to Calcutta. Given his health, I had no option but to relocate completely to Delhi. So in order to clear my debt to my friends, I had to, give off my luxury goods, some of it, actually quite a lot of it. They were happy, because it was at a cheap rate. But at that time, the shock of what really matters hit me, you know. And that is when I realized that luxury is not only the goods, luxury is not only the price tag, luxury is not only about purchasing power. Because I loved luxury, luxury is also about stories. So I started cleaning myself of this addiction that I had of this luxury consumerism and defining luxury only by luxury consumerism. And that was the time when my journey started as an explorer in the world of luxury, wherein I wanted to define it in a more inclusive way so that more and more people can join this voyage. In a way that more and more people can appreciate luxury, understand luxury, study luxury. And that is where my journey of finding the true meaning of luxury and finding the myth behind luxury started. And this I'll take you to the last phase of my session. So let's talk a little bit about myth. Now, we all know what myth is, and we all know that how myth has the power to survive across centuries, across generations, and still remain fresh in our minds, cutting across geographies. Now, the secret ingredient that keeps myth alive is something called a mythic value. And what is this mythic value? The mythic value means that embodying two contradictions. So let me explain a bit. So if you remember, there's a famous sculpture by Auguste Rodin called A Penseur, or the Thinker, where there is this well-built gentleman who's deeply thinking about something. And this has become the most important work of Rodin, which has survived the test of time. Because this image of this well-built man thinking is an embodiment of the two greatest contradictions of humankind: mind and body. So this embodiment of contradiction keeps the story alive, keeps the myth alive. So similarly, if I use this concept and studied luxury, using the various history of luxury of the various brands. And if you remember the story that I told you about the Cartier crown necklace, which was of Maharaja of Patiala, that crown necklace, is if you just imagine or visualize, there is this Indian native Maharaja wearing a crown necklace which has over 2,500 diamonds and 250 carat worth of a centerpiece of DBS. It is a perfect embodiment of two contradictions: East meeting West. And small wonder that Cartier still keeps that photograph in all its major stores internationally, including in Paris. And the moment, a visitor, it's displayed in a very prominent position. And the moment a visitor looks at it, they're very happy to share the story. The story of how East meets West. And that is what luxury is all about: stories. Stories of craftsmanship, stories of how a brand transcends from one form to another, stories of how in a small hamlet in Venice you have the most beautiful work being done. The story of man-hours, the story of creativity, and the story of dazzle. So the word luxury comes from the word lux or dazzle. So what dazzles you may not dazzle me. But the real dazzle is in the stories. We in this world which is completely consumed by this luxury consumerism, we're all funambulists walking the tightrope. And it is here we need to reclaim our stories. And stories are for everyone. So you go and get your own story of luxury. It is for you. It is for everyone. The myth is for everyone. Thank you so much.